Hello students, today we are going to discuss the application of elements of art. Elements of art refer to what is available for a designer willing to communicate visually their ideas to others. Color, color values, forms and shapes, space, lines, textures and pattern are called the elements of art. The elements of art are the basic components of art making. It is impossible to create an interior design without using at least one of the 7 elements of art. In order to be successful in interior design, a designer must be able to intelligently use the elements of art. The 7 elements of art are, to start with, color. Color exists in all things. In 1704, Sir Isaac Newton discovered that all the colors of the rainbow exist in light. The 3 primary colors are red, yellow and blue, and the 3 secondary colors are orange, green and violet. Black is the sum of all these colors, and all the colors that fall between the primary and secondary are known as intermediate colors. All the intermediate colors can be produced by mixing a primary and a secondary color together. The value of color is the lightness and darkness. Colors are made lighter and darker by adding either black or white. A color plus white is called a tint. A color plus black is called a shade. A color plus gray is called a tone. The colors of the rooms within a home should be to bring about the personality of the owner. Room color affects everyone and every day of our lives. Room color can influence our mood and our thoughts. Color affects people in many ways depending upon one's age, gender, ethnic background or even local climate. Certain colors or groups of colors tend to get a similar reaction from most people when the overall difference in the shade or tones is used. Hence, when it comes to interior decorating, it is important to choose colors wisely. Color has the power to change the shape and size of furnishings as well as the shape and size of the room itself. Selecting colors for different interiors is not difficult if one understands the basic information about color and its effects. Many theories upon the subject of color convey the impression that the qualities of colors are due to their association with objects. For example, green and blue are quiet and refreshing because they are associated with vegetation and the sky. These associations have heightening those qualities in the human mind. Let us move on to use of these colors in the interiors. We start with primary colors. The visible spectrum of radiation from an object is the sensation of color. The 3 important properties of color are hue, that is the name of the color, intensity and value. Intensity is the purity, that is the brightness or dullness of the color. Pure red is bright, whereas red mixed with a little green becomes less intense. Now coming to value or brightness, the lightness or darkness of a color. How much white or black shows through is mixed in. It can be used to depict light and shadow on a color and help show some volume or form. Now other terms used to talk about color include tint, shade, tone, temperature and various color harmonies or schemes such as monochromatic, analogous and complementary. Okay? Now can you tell me the difference between intensity and value?
Okay ma'am, I would like to answer the question. The intensity can be described as the brightness or dullness of a color, whereas value can be described as the lightness or darkness of a color.
Okay, so did you get that? Intensity is the brightness or the darkness, the dullness of a color, whereas value refers to
lightness
or darkness of a color. Okay. Let's talk about the most common colors used in interiors. We start with yellow. Yellow stands for light and in its pure shades makes for cheerfulness, in rooms which have moderate sunlight. But in strongly lighted rooms, it makes for glare. In such rooms, the quieter shades of yellow, such as buff and tan, can be chosen. When using quiet tones in a highly lighted room, one can take advantage of things as awnings, shades, blends, blinds and curtains, rich and heavy enough to modify and diffuse a garish light to happy glow. With such a light, it is therefore possible to employ tones of orange, buff, gold or Chinese yellow. Okay, we move on to red. In its proper shades and proper proportions, red is of eminent value in interior decoration. An all red room is too suggestive of disagreement, conflict and discord. The use of raw green can act as an offset reference in such interiors. True reds and its values have much wider application in interiors than vermilion. The deep hues have vitality and warmth and are so most suitable for urban use. Rose has an enlivening and human quality without the heat of the stronger shades. As red in any shade is an advancing color. The soft crimsons and the soft shades of rose are excellent in solid colors with a stripe or pattern in the weave of for upholstering, poetries and the like. Grey and rose is another attractive and feminine color scheme. We move on to blue now. There are attractive tones of blue which amply justify the popularity of this color in decorative use. There are, however, other shades of coldness or hardness of which one must be careful about. Another difficulty is the use of blue to which attention must be called for, that is, when using it with other colors. Another difficulty with the use of blue is difference in tones, because slight tone differences often enough to result in discord. By nature, blue is cool, but a little warm accentuating colors makes the room warm and a place in which to live. With these reservations, blue is recommended by designers, especially in its grade or medium and peacock shades, and in proper combination it possesses refinement and elegance. Moving on to secondary colors, right? Green. Green is another color which also cools in many shades, but naturally not so much as the blue does. If a greater proportion of yellow is introduced, it becomes warmer and more advancing. As seen in nature, these two colors of blue and green in sky and sea and vegetation shows their appropriateness in larger masses than with the reds and yellows and brighter blues. Green is an eminently suitable color in its soft tones for rugs and properties, and olive green is rich and handsome. But like brown, it must be employed in moderation if heaviness is to be avoided. Blue greens are frequently used in painted furniture, and when sufficiently relieved with other colors are excellent for this purpose. Green is used as a background in combination, but an all green room would be almost unbearable in its influence even in the lighter shades. That is about green. We move on to violet, mauve and mulberry. Effective rooms for women can be created by using lighter shade of mauve. Mulberry is a violet filled with red, which is dark and rich, and if used with a sufficient quantity of lighter coloring is handsome for draperies. Care should be used in selection, for under artificial light some shades of mulberry look like brown. Then we have orange. Orange evokes excitement, enthusiasm, and it's an energetic color. While not a good idea for a living room or for bedrooms, this color is great for an exercise room. It will bring out all the emotions that you need released during your fitness routine. In ancient cultures, orange was believed to heal the lungs and increase energy levels. That is the importance of orange. Now we move on to the use of colors in interiors, that is the neutral colors. Remember, we discussed white and black as neutral colors. So white, though generally not considered as a color, is both a neutral and a universal harmonizer. From the interior decorator's point of view, whites are not only pure white, but all the varying shades such as grey, cream, ashes of rose, etc., which are too light to be properly classed under those names. Because walls and ceilings are first to be considered in any interior furnishing details, white is being considered to be first taken up for this purpose. Light shades are most frequently advisable. The various shades of whites alone or in combination are the best choice for walls and ceilings. The use of one of the white or light tones for walls relieves a scheme which otherwise would be artificial and oppressive. White in combination with black is very elegant, but the combination may be too startling for a room continually occupied, but may have its uses. A reception room with black and white striped paper of a simple pattern and black lacquered or painted furniture and upholster would be effective and not unduly intense. Interiors with black and white stripes, broken colors are very attractive. Black alone is considered as the best possible background for bringing out the colors with effect and charm. White in juxtaposition with colors heightens their effect and raises their key, while black reduces and lowers them. That is about black and white. Now you have the grey. Normal grey is a fusion of equal powers of three primary colors. Remember the primary colors? Red, yellow and blue, right? So this grey is a fusion of these three primary colors. But if there is an excess of any one or two of these tones, would naturally lean toward the color or colors in excess, so that there are really numerous hues of grey. The warm greys are naturally therefore those which have a yellowish or a pinkish tone, while those of bluish or greenish are considered cool. Greys are generally useful as backgrounds, that is for walls and ceilings, and of great value in the mingling of various colors in accessories and other fabrics. When used with green and blue, it prevents the hotness which would result from too much red or yellow. The cream grey is cool and refreshing in the heat of summer, but the effect can be improved if a few colored objects such as couch pillows are added. The browns are derivatives from yellow mixed with red and some blue. There are many attractive shades, and brown veiler for hangings is rich and also handsome. Now can you tell me the difference between tint and shade?
Tint is when you add the white color to the color, that is tint. Shade is when you add the black color to the main color, that is shade.
Okay, that's the difference between tint and shade. Okay, clear? Now we move on to the psychological effects of primary colors. Primary colors are red, yellow and blue, as we have discussed. So we start with red. In general, this color is interpreted as warm or hot. These hues come from the longer wavelengths of the spectrum. Warm colors from this area of the petal include raspberry, strawberry, cherry, watermelon, rose, geranium, cranberry, maroon, burgundy, wine, ruby and crimson, which have the feeling of advancing toward the viewer. Now you can have some features of red, like it captures attention, considered passionate, creates vitality, encourages movement, generates an excitement, increases pulse rate, promotes alertness, it prompts action, stimulates appetite and also suggests strength. Now we move on to pink. Pink in general is interpreted as warm or hot color. The hues come from the longer wavelengths of the spectrum. Colors from this area of the palette include pink, rose, magenta, mauve, fuchsia, hot pink, shocking, pink, bubblegum, carnation, primrose, petal pink, blush, peony and powder. Now it has features like it can be considered tender, it conveys a delicate disposition, expresses feminine quality, implies innocence, it inspires compassion, nurtures affection, promotes healthy impression and also radiates a caring attitude. Next we move on to yellow. In general, this color is also interpreted as warm or hot. These hues come from the longer wavelengths of the spectrum. Warm colors from this area of the palette include ochre, buttercup, gold, almond, lemon, citrus, honey, brass, amber, sunflower, fuchsia, jonquil, daisy and sunshine, and have the feeling of advancing toward the viewer. It also has some features like conveys lightness, encourages spontaneity, expresses a caution, indicates innovation and implies free spirit along with inspiring creativity, offers zest and joyfulness, radiates warmth and raises your alert levels. Next we have blue. Blue in general is interpreted as a cool or cold color. These hues come from a shorter wavelength of the spectrum. Cool colors from this area of the palette include azure, delft, sky, denim, wedgwood, blueberry, royal, periwinkle, cobalt, ultramarine and navy, and have the feeling of receding away from the viewer. It has a calming spirit, combats tension, cultivates conservatism, offers serenity, promotes thoughtfulness, provides introspection, soothing nature, it supports relaxation and underscores devotion. Now that was the psychological effect of the colors that are primary. Now we move on to the psychological effects of secondary colors. To start with, orange. In general, this color is interpreted as warm or hot. These hues come from the longer wavelengths of the spectrum. Warm colors from this area of the palette include melon, clay, salmon, coral, peach, apricot, rust, terracotta, shrimp, copper, mango, marigold and cinnamon. They have a feeling of advancing towards the viewer. And it also has features like it's considered fun, encourages movement, expresses emotion, gregarious nature, implies a good cheer, invites friendliness, a playful attitude, a pleasurable spirit and also suggests power. Then we move on to green. In general, this color is interpreted as cool or cold. These hues come from the shorter wavelengths of the spectrum. The greens that are more yellow are considered to be warmer. Greens that are bluer are considered cooler. Colors from this area of the palette include sage, moss, lime, mint, hunter, celadon, olive, evergreen, leaf, emerald, fern, avocado, grass, spruce, clover and holly. And they have the feeling of receding away from the viewer. It has features like enhancing concentration, facilitating judgment, nurturing relaxation, offers balance, promotes security, provides refreshing atmosphere, it renews your spirit and also suggests healing. Then we have violet. Violet in general is interpreted as a cooler color. These hues come from the shorter wavelengths of the spectrum, and it should be noted that violets which are bluer may be considered cooler, while violets which are red will be slightly warmer in their feeling. Colors from this area of the palette include iris, amethyst, lilac, orchid, purple, lavender, plum, grape, violet, eggplant and blackberry. And generally they have a feeling of receding away from us when cool. But at the same time it has features like it allows meditation, contemplative nature, conveys royal essence, expresses a mystery, introspective persona, intuitive understanding, opulent nature, sensitive character, unique quality and whimsical personality. Okay, with your understanding now, do you recollect what are the primary colors and why are they called so?
Yes, ma'am. Red, blue and yellow are the primary colors. They are called so because they cannot be obtained only by mixing with other colors.
They are the primary colors. You cannot obtain them from mixing the other colors. Okay, they are natural, so they are called primary colors. You don't obtain them by mixing the colors. Okay, clear? Then we move on to the psychological effects of neutral colors. We finished with primary and secondary colors. We move on to the neutral colors and their psychological effects. Warm naturals or warm neutrals, warm hues are the subdued tones that come from the longer wavelengths of the spectrum. These colors include khaki, oatmeal, bisque, chocolate, tea, desert, toast, mahogany, cream, straw, vanilla, off-white, tan, taupe, beige, ivory, oyster, pearl, bronze and brown. They have the feeling of subtly advancing towards the viewer. It's comfortable in attitude, conservative nature, implies a stability, communicates gracefulness, promotes secure feeling, suggests subtle warmth and versatile in nature. Now cool neutrals. In general, this color area is interpreted as cool. These hues include colors of fog, ebony, stainless, pewter, smoke, ash, chrome, white, frost, grey and charcoal, etc. And they have a feeling of subtly receding away from the viewer. Implies sophistication, introspective nature, soothing atmosphere, subdues emotional response, suggests subtle coolness and versatile nature. Right? Then finally we have learnt the elements of art are the basic components of art making. It's impossible to create an interior design without using at least one of the 7 elements of art, and in order to be successful in interior designing, a designer must be able to intelligently use the elements of art. Any interior design can also be analyzed according to the use of elements and their effects on the people. Color can be incorporated in interiors, taking the color psychology to one's advantage when going through your selection process. Color meanings are useful and can help one build a successful interior design schemes. Right? Any more questions?
What kind of colors we can use in smaller rooms?
Okay. See, it depends on the taste of the person basically, but lighter shades of colors, lighter tints, of cream, of white or things like that can be preferred for a small room, but at the same time you should also keep in mind the furniture that you use in the room, the direction of the room and the utility of the room. All these should be taken into consideration before you choose a color for the room. Okay. Hope you all understood part 1. Thank you very much.